Vine got out of the shower to find her husband missing. He was probably still working in his study room. She sighed and dried off her hair, looking at his things scattered on the table: watch, tie, and rings. He was usually a very composed man. Being the CEO of a huge enterprise, had a huge load of work on his shoulders, but he tried his best to make sure she never complained about not giving her enough time. She started to fix his things, putting them back in their place. He looked quite tensed when he came back home tonight and excused himself going to study room and was still there even after 3 hours. Getting done with her routine, she asked the maid to warm up the dinner. I went where Jungkook was, knocking at the door once. She didn't wait for the reply as she went in. It had been 3 months since the two got married. Before the wedding, they hardly met once or twice, and it was strange how quickly he managed to get her comfortable with him. Jungkook was on a phone call, looking quite angry, and with a command, he hung up the call and closed his eyes tightly, rubbing his temples. She wished she could share some of this burden, but she had no idea how these things worked. She left the food trolley there and walked to him. Jungkook, I'm sorry I kept you waiting. You should eat. I need to. He tried to dismiss her, but stopped when she held his arm and directed him towards the couch. Ryan, only 5 minutes. Please. She made him sit and stood behind the couch herself. Jungkook, Ryan, I am. Ryan, close your eyes. He exhaled and did as she said. She carefully rested his head against the back and started to massage his head very softly, which surely provided him comfort and peace for a few minutes. Ryan, wanna share what happened? She continued to massage, and his stiff muscles slowly relaxed up a bit. Jungkook, I told you, we have been preparing an important project for the upcoming event next week. Ryan, you did. Jungkook, there was an attempted data breach which obviously failed due to our high security systems, but whoever it was managed to successfully delete every file related to it. Jungkook, it was almost finished and ready to be served. I can't go in much details, but now the backup to the backup is gone, and it's nearly impossible to get the 2 months' work done in less than a week. She persuaded her lips. Now she understood why she was so worked up and angry. It was really an important task for him, and he used to tell her about how everything is going great and how it was going to prove so successful for his company. Wine. Is it the same thing you once used my laptop for? When Jungkook nodded, she left the massage and rounded the couch standing in front of him. Wine. Is it possible you can retrieve it from the deleted files? I mean, it was simply deleted from the user files without any special hacking. Its remnants must still be on the hard drive. Jungkook sat up straight. Can you bring me your laptop? She nodded and rushed to get it for him. Once Jungkook got his hands on it, he started working on it, checking if he could somehow get back the deleted file. Wine looked at the food, and without any doubt, it got cold all over again. She sighed and let Jungkook work for now. She watched how he made calls and was so focused on his work, but slowly his muscles started to relax and she could tell he was going to succeed. It took some time, but Jungkook was able to recover the file and sent it to his team to finish it. Wine, good now? He chuckled and pulled her in his lap. Jungkook, well, they say woman brings you luck. He pecked her lips and held her hand intertwining his fingers against hers. She felt her heartbeat increasing. It might be 3 months, but he still had this ability to churn butterflies in her stomach. Jungkook, thank you, Wine. Wine, now, whoever wanted to see you fail will be the one to be going crazy once he sees you presenting your project as perfectly as ever. He smiled and kissed the corner of her lips before kissing her, and she kissed him back, wrapping her arms around his neck. She felt goosebumps once his fingers grazed against her waist. Her stomach rumbled slowly and she pulled back. Jungkook, I told you to eat. Wyan, I told you to eat too. Did you listen? She raised her brow and he threw his hands up, surrendering. Wyan, I'll ask someone to heat it up. Jungkook, I'll do that. He picked her up in his arms and took her out, going to the kitchen. She chuckled and swung her legs to and fro. She never thought she would get so easy with him this quickly. It was him who understood her insecurities, gave her time, and respected her wishes, treated her like a wife should be. Placing her down on the stool, he went back to his study, bringing the food trolley and wound it up, serving her with him. Wine, I never wanted to marry a CEO, she said as she served him and herself in the plates. Wine, growing up having a CEO dad forced me to make that decision. I was always busy with work. Even on weekends, it was rare we would get his time. So when dad wanted me to marry you, I nearly rejected. Wyan, I heard about you a lot, and the first thought I had was please no. He's going to be all the time drowned in his work. She chuckled. I never knew you'd be this romantic. Jungkook, I'm honored, my lady. Smiling, she kissed his cheek and continued to talk while eating. The two had a good time. After a week, the conference was as successful as ever, with his company stocks rising in the market. He even found out the one behind the filthy move was his competitor Enterprise, who always tried their filthy ways to get to the top. He even filed a lawsuit against them, and suddenly everything was going as perfect as it could, with work and his happily ever arranged marriage he never planned.